Okay, now the moment you've all been waiting for is our guest speaker. You may have already heard the news, but we have a new U.S. consular agent, and she is Erika Montes Ruiz, who recently ascended to her new position. She's our guest speaker. As an official representative of the United States government, Ms. Montez Ruiz serves the U.S. expat community by protecting the interests of citizens temporarily or permanently residing in Mexico, the issuance of passports and visas, and other diplomatic functions. And she has a fairly extensive background working at the Consular Agency in July of last year, of 2019. She previously worked at the U.S. Embassy Consular Section of the American Citizen Services Unit. That was in March of 2017. At the embassy, she worked both in the passport subunit and in the Special Citizen Services subunit. And prior to that, prior to her work at the embassy, well, that's what she did prior to her work at the embassy. Okay. So I think she's originally from Chiapas. Is that correct, Erika? Chiapas?
That is correct. Yes.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to join me in welcoming our guest speaker and our new consular agent. Here's Erika Montes Ruiz. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me as your speaker today. I am really excited to be here virtually, and I hope that we can, we get to meet soon in person once everything is once it's safe for everybody to do that. Well, first, you're correct. I'm originally from Chiapas. I am a dual citizen. I became a U.S. citizen in 2012, and now I'm here. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is I want to make a correction. We don't do visas here at the consular agency. This is just American Citizen Services. So we do everything else that you mentioned except visas. We don't. I just want to make that clear because we do have a lot of people come to our office asking about visa services. So I want to make sure that we're not under the impression that we do those here. But we do passport, we do notaries, we do special citizen services. Okay, so my first topic is we are actually resuming services today. So we have appointments later today. I'm very excited about it. We are offering only limited services. So for example, emergency passports, emergency notaries. That's just what we can do now. Right now, routine services. So for example, if you have a passport that expired and you want to get your regular 10-year passport, that's what is called a routine service. Those are still suspended throughout Mexico. So as those reactivate again, then we will be able to offer those services here. But if you have a travel emergency or you need your passport for, like a medical reason, legal matter, administrative matter, you need to do some type of process with immigration, then we can help you here. The other thing, I'm excited about that. Like I said, we also do the notary services here. So if you have a document that you need to sign for something that's gonna, be used in the U.S., like power of attorney or your sale of your home or something like that, that's something we can also help you here. Because we are resuming activities today, I do have appointments later at around 10:30, so I would need to, I would not be able to stay past that time because I will have customers that I need to assist. So I will try to be very concise so that we can get to the question and answer part. Another topic that I believe is very important is voting. So we do have a ballot box here at this office. You can come and drop off your ballot. We have a guard at the window. So, I'm sorry, at the door. So he will be able to get your ballot and put it in a ballot box. But I will suggest that everybody who needs to bring their ballot, they do it soon, so today or before the end of this week, because the deadlines for the registration and ballots are coming up very, very soon. So I would suggest that everybody who hasn't done it, do it ASAP. Another thing that you may want to check, so I suggest that you contact your local election office so that you know exactly what your deadline is. And the reason for that is we receive the ballots here and then we send them to the embassy, and that process it only takes a few days, but we collect all the ballots and then we send them out at the end of the week. So if you bring your ballot today, for example, it's not going to make it to the embassy until next week. And then they send it via the diplomatic pouch, and that can take a few weeks. So if your specific state has a deadline that your ballot has to be received before election day, we don't know if that's actually going to happen. Now, if your state says, as long as your ballot is postmarked by the embassy before election day, then that is fine. So the other option that you have is just mailing it straight to the local election office. And we suggest that you do that via DHL, FedEx, a professional courier service, so that you make sure that your ballot is received before your specific state deadlines. Now I'm going to put in here the link. I'm going to put the link in the chat where you can see, if you don't have the contact information for your local election office, I'm going to put this link here, and then you can find it there. Let's see what else. Okay, so the other topic I would like to talk about is about registering on STEP, which is the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. For people who are registered, then they know that they receive these alerts via email for anything that happens right now, specific COVID related or safety related, and that is a very helpful tool. So I'm going to put this in the link as well. Now, another information that I wanted to share with you is if you're curious about consular operations, like when routine services are going to resume, what's going to happen, etc., including visas, this is the website, this is the embassy website, and this is where you can check, how consular operations are evolving right now with the, with the current situation. So I'm going to put this link as well. Second. All right, I'm going to read some of the questions. Okay.
And by the way, if anybody has any question, because we know that we left a lot of time, because we know that there are a lot of you out there, and you have, I know, a lot of questions. So we have a chat box. That's the best way for us to facilitate your questions. So go ahead and put it in the chat box, and Erika will answer it. Okay, Erika, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, thank you. I'm going to start reading the questions now. So I have one here from Ron. It says, what are the benefits of obtaining a passport card? This is my personal opinion. If you don't live on the border, there's no benefits. Now, this is just my personal opinion. And let me tell you why. So the passport card, it's only useful to cross by land, either to Mexico, I believe Canada as well. And so if you're not on that borderline, you're probably not going to use it. If you always travel to the US by airplane, then you're not going to use your passport card. Now, I know some people like to have the passport card when you live inside the US because, if they ask for proof of citizenship, then you have that, and you don't have to carry your actual passport book if you're not traveling internationally. So, for example, you're just flying from like LA to New York, and they ask for that at the airport, and you have your passport card. You don't have to carry your passport book with you. So that is one benefit. And then again, if you live near the border, then you can just get across the border with your passport card. But if you don't, if you always fly to Mexico and back to the US, then you're probably not going to use it. Okay. The next question says, we are concerned about returning to the US to get a permanent temporary residency due to COVID, of course. Will there be any changes in that process? I'm assuming you're speaking about that process with Mexican immigration, with Instituto Nacional de Migración, or INAMI, as a lot of us know it as. We don't know. As far as I know, their office, the local INAMI office here, they are doing services, and I believe it's by appointment only. We are not involved in that process at all. That's not something that you would do here. So I would check with immigration to see, how you can do that. I don't know if there are any changes in that process. That's not something that we would know because we're not involved in that process. Okay. The next question is, my wife's USA passport expires in January. Can she apply for one now? Emergency method. The answer is no. So if you have a trip before January, you can use, or she can use her regular passport. If she has a trip, for example, after her passport is going to expire, like let's say February, then she would need to get a passport here, or she can get a passport here, but we would ask that you wait until that trip is coming up. If the passport expires and you're still here in Mexico, that's not a problem at all. If your passport expires, we can still renew it. That it doesn't matter to us whether it's expired or not. But at this time, we wouldn't be able to schedule an emergency appointment because one, there's not a trip coming up, and B, if there was a trip, that will probably be after January. So that's another thing that I would like to mention is that right now we're offering appointments for people who have a travel need within the next 4 weeks. So if you don't have a travel need within that time frame, we would ask that you please be patient and then just request an appointment for a later time when you actually have a trip coming up or some other type of emergency, because we want to give preference to those people whose passport has expired and they have a travel need, or they have a trip coming up and their passport is going to expire within that time frame. And the reason for that is because we don't have that many appointments. So because we are only scheduling about half of the appointments that we scheduled before COVID, then we need to be we need to be careful with how we are gonna schedule those appointments. I hope that everybody understands, and I appreciate everybody's patience with this. Okay. The next question is, we always fly into Tijuana and use the CBX bridge to cross into San Diego. Can I use a passport card to cross the bridge? Yes. So again, if you're on the border, you can use your passport card. Next question, do you know when U.S. passport holders can enter countries in the U.S.? I'm not exactly sure I understand this question. So
The European Union.
I'm sorry, the European Union. I'm sorry, I didn't do it right. I am not sure. I don't know. You can check that information on the travel.state.gov. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Because everywhere that is the website, the travel.state.gov. It is the website where you can find the travel restrictions or travel requirements for whatever country you're traveling to. So I'm gonna put this here. Okay. Next question. As you probably know, first San Miguel Allende consul served approximately 25 years. Ed Clancy served at least 15 years. They both set a strong precedent for all consuls and continuity. Unfortunately, Greg Moore was barely there 2 years. Nice guy, but disappointed that he left as soon as. What is your commitment to the American citizens in San Miguel? All I can tell you is that I am not planning on going anywhere soon. So, I would like to stay here as long as possible. I mean, all I can tell you is that those people, Greg, Ed, and the person before Ed, whose name I don't remember right now, they left because it was their decision. So, I am not exactly sure what to tell you about that. All I can tell you is that I am planning on staying here for as long as possible. Okay, so how do you schedule an appointment? We're doing all the scheduling by email only. I had typed in the email where you request an appointment. I'm gonna put it again. It's the con agency San Miguel at state.gov. Okay. So basically how it works is you can just email us, let us know that you request an appointment, and then we were gonna answer back asking more information, like whether you have a trip coming up, what's your name, what's your passport expiration date, and all of that, and then we'll schedule the appointment based on that information. Okay. how long does it take to process renewing my passport? So for example, again, we're not doing the regular routine services right now. Once we resume routine services, I will let you know. I will post it on Facebook. But if you, for example, have your passport expire and you're traveling soon and you come in to get an emergency passport, you will have that emergency passport in about a week. So if you, the emergency passport is a temporary passport right now because of COVID. The embassy is issuing these temporary passports valid for 1 year. And then you also have that same year to replace that passport for a regular 10-year validity passport, which is called a full validity passport. And you don't have to pay the cost again. If that year goes by and you didn't replace your passport, then you will have to pay again. Now, when you receive, so let's say you come in for an appointment, we do the passport, and then you're gonna receive it via DHL. You actually have to go to a DHL location to pick it up for security reasons. So once you receive your passport, you're also going to receive a letter from the embassy with instructions on how to replace that passport. And if you can do it here at this agency once the routine services resume, or you can also do it in the US by mail. I don't believe that, actually, I know that in the US, you can also do the renewal of your passport or get your passport replaced, but the last time I checked, it's taking several weeks. Okay, I have another question. I sent an email last Sunday to request an appointment for an emergency passport and received a bounce back telling me all services are closed. Can I assume it works today? So the bounce back email is the auto reply, and that is the standard for all consular offices. So whenever you send an email to me here at the agency, to the embassy, or to any other consulate general, you're going to receive an auto reply. That is the standard. And we do reply to emails. You will receive a personalized response within 24 hours. Now, we try to reply to emails within 24 hours. So far, we haven't gone past that, but we can take up to 3 days to respond that email. But right now, I can assure you, we're trying to respond within 24 hours. That does not include weekends, and it does not include holidays. So yesterday was a holiday. If you send an email between Friday evening all the way until yesterday, we will get to that email today. Okay, so someone is asking for our contact info. That would be the email, which I just added to the chat box, the conagency.sanmiguel@state.gov. Now, email, it is the best way to contact us because we will see it fast. If you call right now, they would, you will go to a call center and then they will transfer the call to us. But email, so that's why email is best. We can, if there's a need for us to talk to you on the phone, then we can call you. But I would suggest that any question that you have, that you submit it via email. Okay, someone is asking if they should use the DS-82 or DS-11 to renew your passport. So the DS-82 is only for renewals of the 10-year passport. So if you have a passport that it was valid for 10 years and you want to renew that passport, then you will use the DS-82. So that applies basically for all adults. If you have a passport that it was valid for 5 years, so then when you were a minor, or you lost your previous passport, so you lost your 10-year passport, then you would use the DS-11, or if you're applying for a passport for the first time. Okay, the next question is, when can Europeans again enter the US to private visits? That's not something I have the answer to. I'm gonna write it down and I can get back to you. But again, on the travel.state.gov website, that's where all that information would be available at. Okay. Okay, the next question says, I just heard yesterday that the US is working with major airlines to develop a travel bridge between New York and London to near future. Okay, that's not something I'm aware of. I don't have any information on that. Okay, the next question. I understand that the humanitarian extension for applying for a permanent FFM has expired, but I understand that a new one with a different name has been made available. Again, this is not something that we would have information on because this is all of the immigration documents are issued by the local immigration authority. So that's the Instituto Nacional de Migración, and we don't, again, if there's any changes in the way that they do things, that's not something that I have the information on. I know that, let me see, one second. I know that they had some information available during the COVID, or, during the pandemic. Let me see if I can find that information for you. Okay, if I find it, I'll send it. Okay, next question. I have an active passport. How can I obtain a passport card? That is what it would be a routine service. So that at this moment, that's not something that you will be able to get. If you are in the US, you can do that process in the US. But if you're here in Mexico, all consulates, embassy, and consular agencies were just doing emergency services. So once the routine services resume, that's something that we will be able to do here at this office. All you need to do is just bring your passport and the application DS-82 and pay for that passport card. Now the passport card is cheaper than the passport book. It is $30 for adults and $15 for minors. Okay, the next question is, if there is a change in the US administration, how will that impact you and the embassy in Mexico City? I can tell you that I don't expect any changes, at least here at this embassy, in this consular agency, and I don't expect any changes in consular section, or at least American Citizen Services, because, American Citizen Services it's something that it normally is not affected by whatever changes happen with the U.S. administration. And I can assume that there's probably going to be some changes at the embassy, but more in other sections that are not consular. And, if there are any changes, I'm sure that it will affect here American Citizen Services. I will make sure that I would let you know about that. Okay, the next question. How far in advance of expiration should I apply to renew my passport? It depends on when you're traveling. So if you're, if your passport expires, let's say tomorrow, and then you're traveling next week, then you need an emergency passport like right now, right? But if you just want to renew your passport, there's no time in advance that you have to do that by. It depends on where you're traveling to. So for example, if you're traveling to a country that requires at least a 6-month validity on your passport, that's something that you need to take into consideration. But if you're not traveling at all, you just want to renew your passport, I would ask you to wait until the routine services resume, and then you will be able to just apply for your passport and then get another 10-year validity passport. Even if your passport expires, that's not a problem, that you can renew it without any problems at all. Okay, so the next question is, can I travel now to New York, have my Mexican passport and visa? I understand that there's no current travel restrictions right now if you're flying. If you're traveling by land, the borders are closed to non-US citizens. But if you're flying, there's no travel restrictions at this time for if you're flying. 1 second. I'm gonna add this website here that this is from the embassy website, It is a COVID-19 information for U.S. citizens in Mexico, and it has a lot of information if you're traveling, what the travel restrictions are, entry and exit requirements. So I'm gonna add this link right now. Give me just a second. Okay. Okay, the next question is, do you know when is the visa process be reactivated for the people that needs the visa? I can tell you that they're doing visas right now. So if you have a visa and your visa either has not expired or it hasn't been more than 24 months since it expired, you can apply for your visa now, because if it hasn't expired, if it's less than 24 months since expire, you don't need to be interviewed by a consular officer. So those services have resumed. Now, I understand that they're also doing kind of the same thing we are, that they're doing emergency appointments based on the, what your travel need is. And again, that's the information that you can find on the embassy website. And that extension just happened recently. So before, if your visa was less than 12 months that expired, then you can do the renewal without having to be interviewed by a consular officer. And that was extended to 24 months due to COVID. I don't know how long that extension is going to be valid for, but I can tell you that that's how it is right now. Okay. So I have a comment here. It says, "Dear Erika, this chat has been most informative and you've been very impressive. Good luck to you, and I look forward to meeting you at some time in the future." Thank you very much, Jane. Okay, how can we know when the agency resumes regular services? I will let you know. So if I have been posting on the San Miguel civil list on Facebook, and also on the San Miguel de Allende Friends and Expats. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name of the group, but I can look it up. So I posted on those two websites where I get most responses on the civil list. So I suggest that you join that group if you're not part of it. That's where I have been posting all the updates ever since Greg left, and announcing that I am the consular agent, and also about our office not having services at that time. And on Friday I posted about our office resuming services here. So I would suggest that you check those Facebook groups so that you are updated with all the information that I post. Okay. Will your office help U.S. citizens get COVID vaccinations when they are available? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's not information that I have. That's something I can definitely follow up once a vaccine is actually available. But I can tell you that at this moment, that's not something that I will be able to give information on, because a vaccine is not even available. But I can let you know as soon as one's available. Okay, the next question is, there are many U.S. citizens in Michoacan. When can you visit us? Okay, so right now we're not doing any trips at all because of the pandemic. The other thing is, so here in San Miguel de Allende, we cover the state of Guanajuato. So when the state of Michoacan actually falls under the consular district that belongs to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. So if there are any visits made by the U.S. government, it will probably be representatives from the U.S. Embassy and not myself. I mean, I would love to go, but I can tell you that I don't expect any trips coming up anytime soon. Okay, the next question is, to renew a passport now, must one go to CDMX or Guadalajara? Are those the only locations near us? The length of the time to receive the new passport is? Okay, Carol. So you can go to Mexico City or Guadalajara. It's entirely up to you. Here in this consular agency, we belong to the U.S. Embassy, so I can tell you what their procedures are. I can give you the information. But for Guadalajara, I don't know the processing times or anything like that. You will need to contact them via email, or you can also contact them via phone to get that information. If you decide to go to the embassy is doing basically the same that we are. So the embassy is offering emergency services only. And I know that I can tell you that routine services are probably going to reactivate soon, because the regular passports, the routine passports, all of that are produced and printed in the US. So because those printing locations closed because of the pandemic, then this passport were not printed and everything was just on hold, right? So right now they are reactivating services again, and they're trying to get all of those applications that were on hold, all those passports produced and printed and shipped back to whatever country they're going to. But there is a backlog. I haven't checked on the backlog, but I know that they're still working on that. So there's now some people are able to get the regular passport, and I believe that they're receiving it soon, like within 3 to 4 weeks. But they're not. I won't be able to tell you what the processing is right now because we're not doing the routine services. Once we are resuming routine services, I can let you know how long it's going to be before you have your passport. I can tell you that before the pandemic started, it was taking about 5 to 6 weeks to receive a regular passport. And then again, I don't have that information for you right now because we're not doing the routine services. But then once those resume, I can let you know what the processing time is. If you
Erika?
apply, yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you apply for an emergency passport here, you will have that in a week, but that is just a temporary passport that would be valid for 1 year. Okay,
All right.
I am ready.
That's good news. I just wanted to, I know that you have appointments beginning at 10:30, so that's
Yes.
right around the corner. So I want to thank you for taking the time to answer all of these questions. And are there any other parting words of wisdom that you have for those of us that are U.S. citizens here in San Miguel?
Well, all I can tell you is that stay home, stay home and stay safe. Don't get out of your house if you don't have to. If you have any questions at all, there's a question that you wanted to ask and I didn't have time to get to, please email to the con agency San Miguel at state.gov. And our team here will get back to you. There's sometimes where I respond personally, and there's times where our assistants here in the office will respond. Just kind of depends on the question. But please know that we're here to support you. And if there's any question and that I didn't get time to, please email us. And I look forward to meeting all of you once all of this pandemic is behind us.
And hopefully that'll be sometime in the middle part of next year. By the way, where do you normally post all of your notices, your communication notices? Where can we find
posted,
that?
Let me, I'm going to send you the links to the group that I post.
Okay.
I normally don't, I'm sorry, I haven't posted a lot of information. But I plan on doing that. So I plan on posting updates, as soon as things change. So as I was saying before, once we can actually offer the routine services, I will be more than happy to let you know. Give me just a moment. I'm looking for this.
In the meantime, folks, I'm pretty sure that on our website, all of these, Ron, do you think it's possible that we can list on our website all of these links that Erika has put into the chat box?
I'll jot them down right now and I'll put them there with the video of this presentation. I'll have the links underneath.
Very good. All right.
All
right, Erika, I want to thank. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I'm adding these links to the Facebook groups where I have been posting. 1 second, and I accidentally just sent it to Jane, so I'm sorry about that, Jane. I just put it to everyone.
There you go. That's good. Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us this morning. Welcome into your new position. You've been here in San Miguel. You like it?
I love it. I actually have been here since July last year. I did work with Greg, and also before that, when I was at the embassy, I also worked with Greg and the rest of the assistants here. So I was very familiar with the type of work, and I was familiar with the staff here. But I am happy I'm not in Mexico City anymore, especially now.
Yeah, right now, sure, absolutely. Okay, well, good luck, and
Thank
we
you.
look forward to actually meeting you one of these days in person.
No, same here, and I hope that I hope that everybody got some good information. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely, thank you.